Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Emma Birch, a university admissions officer. Her specialist subject is British butterflies. Justin Wong, a paralegal. He'll be answering questions on Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright's so-called Cornetto Trilogy of films. Anna Melville James, a freelance writer whose subject is the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, and Rachel Nyman Wiseman, a record label owner. Her subject, the singer and songwriter Kate Bush. This is the moment where the nerves really start to jangle. Many's a contestant overcome by that feeling of a pit in the stomach threatening to swallow you whole. But work with it, control the fright, and you stand the best chance of winning and making it through to the semi-finals. Easy for me to say. As always, they get 2 minutes on their chosen specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. So let us have our first contender, please. And your name?
Emma Birch.
Occupation?
University admissions officer.
And your specialist subject?
British butterflies.
The butterflies of the British Isles in 2 minutes. Let's go. The butterfly Aglaé Io, which is easily recognized by the large, colourful eye spots on its wings, is known by what common name?
Peacock.
Yes. What's the common name of the family Rheodinidae, whose only native species is the Duke of Burgundy?
Metal marks.
Yes. Which rare species of fritillary, now largely confined to the Channel Islands and the Isle of Wight, is named after the pioneering female entomologist who first discovered it in the 17th century?
Glanville's fritillary.
Yes. The mating ritual of which species includes the male showering the female with a so-called love dust that has a strong scent of lemon verbena?
Clouded yellow.
No, green-veined white. The native British race of the swallowtail butterfly is restricted to the Norfolk Broads, where its caterpillars feed solely on which plant?
Milk thistle.
No, milk parsley. Which resident species has the genus name Calophrys, from Greek meaning beautiful eyebrow, possibly a reference to the markings round the eyes?
The green hair streak.
Yes. Which skipper whose British range is restricted to a stretch of coast in the extreme south of Dorset is named after the cove near which it was first observed in 1832?
The Lulworth skipper.
Yes, the large tortoiseshell declined to extinction as a resident species with suggested causes, including climate change, parasites, and which disease that devastated its primary food plant?
Dutch elm disease.
Yes, the white letter hair streak is named for the white lines on the underside of each hindwing that form the shape of which letter of the alphabet?
W.
Yes. What's the general name of the secondary metabolites found in plants that are a source of pigments for the wing scales of species such as the common blue?
Pass.
Which species of brown butterfly is thought to be unique among British butterflies in that it can overwinter either as a caterpillar or a chrysalis?
The meadow brown.
No, the speckled wood. In the courtship of many species, I've started, so I'll finish. What name is given to the behaviour in which the two sexes gather at the highest point within their habitat in order to increase their chances of meeting?
Hilltopping.
Yes, it is hilltopping. And Emma, you had one pass. What's the general name of the secondary metabolites found in plants? That's flavonoids. And at the end of that round, Emma, you've scored 8 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Justin Wong.
And your occupation?
Paralegal.
And your specialist subject?
The Cornetto Trilogy.
Yes, the trio of action comedy films directed by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. In 2 minutes. Let's go. In Shaun of the Dead, what's the name of the pub where Shaun and his flatmate Ed spend most of their evenings before London is invaded by zombies?
The Winchester.
Yes, the Winchester Tavern, as well as having problems in his love life. Shaun is unhappy in his job as a sales advisor for what fictional high street retailer?
4E Electric.
Yes, in Hot Fuzz, the police sergeant, Nicholas Angel, is transferred from London to the sleepy village of Sandford, where he stays in the castle suite of which hotel run by Joyce Cooper?
The Swan.
Yes, the Swan Hotel. Angel tells Danny that he can't remember a time when he did not want to be a police officer, apart from the summer of 1979, when he wanted to be which puppet character?
Kermit the Frog.
Yes, in The World's End, the loudmouth Gary King and his old schoolmates attempt to complete the Golden Mile pub crawl in Newton Haven, a feat they tried but previously failed to accomplish on what date in 1990?
June the 22nd.
Yes, in The World's End, what's the name of the first beer the men order when they begin the pub crawl at the first post pub?
Crowning Glory.
Yes, in Shaun of the Dead, what's the name of the zombie whom Shaun and Ed assume to be drunk when they discover her staggering around their garden?
Mary.
Yes, as the zombies break into the Winchester Tavern, Shaun quotes which philosopher to his fellow survivors, telling them that the only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation?
Bertrand Russell.
Yes, in The World's End, which actor who also appeared in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz provides the voice of the Network, the alien force that's attempting to conquer the Earth?
Bill Nye.
Yes, what's the name of the character who featured in early versions of the plot of Hot Fuzz as Angel's girlfriend, but was written out to allow greater focus on his bromance with his patrol partner, Danny Butterman?
Victoria.
Yes, much of the location filming for Hot Fuzz took place in which West Country city where the film's director, Edgar Wright, grew up?
Wells.
Yes, in Shaun of the Dead, after a drunken night out, Shaun writes 3 things on the kitchen memo board. Go round mums, sort life out, and what other 3-word instruction?
Get Liz out.
No, get Liz back. And Justin, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've scored 11 points. And our next contender, please. And your name?
Anna Melville James.
And your occupation?
Freelance writer.
And your specialist subject?
Tutankhamun.
The Egyptian pharaoh who died in his teens and whose virtually intact tomb was discovered in the Valley of the Kings in 1922. In 2 minutes, let's go. In 1914, which British aristocrat was granted the concession to excavate in the Valley of the Kings and collaborated with Howard Carter, who is credited with the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922?
Lord Carnarvon.
Yes, at birth, Tutankhamun was given what name reflecting the religious practices at the time which centered on the worship of the sun god?
Tutankhaten.
Yes. Which woman whose tomb at Saqqara contains a painting of Tutankhamun seated on her lap has been identified as his wet nurse?
Maya.
Yes. What name is given to the stone slab originally intended for display in Karnak Temple that was inscribed with Tutankhamun's plans to reinstate the old religion in Egypt?
Restoration Stela.
Yes. One of the names adopted by Tutankhamun on his accession has been variously translated as perfect of birth, fair of births, and image of births. Which god is linked to this name?
Tutmosut.
No, Horus. Soon after his accession, Tutankhamun moved the administrative capital to Memphis, where he lived in a palace built by which previous pharaoh?
Tuthmosis.
I need more.
The first.
Yes. What was the name of Tutankhamun's wife, who was a daughter of the pharaoh Akhenaten and therefore Tutankhamun's half-sister?
Anxipaaten.
Yes. Which French Egyptologist was the head of the Egyptian Antiquities Service at the time of the tomb's discovery and was present at many key events, including the unwrapping of Tutankhamun's mummy?
Pierre Lecow.
Yes. What alphanumeric name was given to Tutankhamun's tomb when it was found in 1922?
KV62.
Yes, the base of Tutankhamun's sarcophagus is guarded by 4 goddesses carved in relief, one at each corner. They are Isis, Neith, Selket, and which other goddess?
Nephis.
Yes. What animal is painted 12 times on the west wall of the burial chamber to represent the 12 hours of night?
Baboons.
Yes. A painting on the north wall of Tutankhamun's burial chamber shows his successor, Ai, performing an important funeral rite for the pharaoh that involved reanimating the body. What was the ceremony called?
Opening the mouth.
Yes, the opening of the mouth ceremony is correct. And Anna, you had no passes at the end of that round and you've scored 11 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. Your name?
Rachel Nyman Wiseman.
And your occupation?
Record label owner.
And your chosen specialist and subject?
Kate Bush.
The British singer who first topped the chart in 1978, aged just 19 with the song, of course, Wuthering Heights. Let's go. Kate Bush signed for which major UK record label in 1976 and in 2011 negotiated a distribution deal with the company for releases on her new Fish People label?
EMI.
Yes, 2 videos were produced for the song Wuthering Heights, with one filmed indoors and the other on location. At which special area of conservation in southern England?
Salisbury Plain.
Yes, what's the title of the 2011 Kate Bush album, which reached number 5 in the UK and includes the tracks Wild Man, Among Angels and Lake Tahoe?
50 Words for Snow.
Yes, after hearing some of her songs, the Pink Floyd guitarist David Gilmour helped Bush to record a demo tape and later paid for a professional recording session in June 1975. At which studios in London?
Air Studio.
Yes, in November 1979, Bush performed at the Royal Albert Hall as part of the celebrations of the 75th anniversary of the founding of which orchestra?
Royal Philharmonic.
No, the London Symphony Orchestra. What's the title of Bush's 4-CD compilation album of B-sides, remixes and rarities, which was released in March 2019?
This Woman's Work.
No, The Other Sides. Which song on the 1986 compilation album The Whole Story was released as a single in 1982, but was the only one that had not reached the top 30 of the UK singles chart?
The Dreaming.
Yes, the opening lines of the song Hounds of Love, It's in the Trees, It's Coming, are taken from which 1957 horror film?
Night of the Demon.
Yes, what's the title of the 1980 album that made Bush the first British female solo artist to top the UK albums chart?
Never Forever.
Yes, what song later to appear on the Sensual World album did Bush write for the 1988 romantic comedy film She's Having a Baby, directed by John Hughes?
This Woman's Work.
Yes, which British singer and actress joined Bush on backing vocals on the song Lily, recorded for her director's cut album in 2011?
Misha Paris.
Yes, which song on Bush's Never Forever album was loosely inspired by the 1968 French film known in English as The Bride Wore Black, directed by Francois Truffaut?
The Wedding List.
Yes, what's the name of the childhood friend who in 1978 set up the Kate Bush Club, which was the official fan club and was later superseded by Bush's official Facebook page?
Lisa Bradley.
Yes, Lisa Bradley or Lisa Boyer. And Rachel, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've scored 11 points. And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. It's a tight one. In 4th place with 8 points, Emma. In joint 1st place with 11 points each, Justin, Anna and Rachel. So now the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, then we're going to have a tie break. So let's ask Emma to join us again, please. Emma, you start with 8 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What heavy piece of equipment is said to be dropped to moor a ship to the seabed and then weighed to release it?
An anchor.
Yes, in the NATO phonetic alphabet, the letter B is represented by what Italian word used in English to express approval?
Bravo.
Yes, Lincoln is the capital of which American Midwest state?
Massachusetts.
No, Nebraska. What name that translates as air weapon is given to the German Air Force, established in 1935?
Luftwaffe.
Yes, in the titles of the movements of the orchestral suite The Planets by Gustav Holst, which planet is referred to as the magician?
Mercury.
No, Uranus. Which country's cricket team was Sunil Gavaskar playing for in 1987 when he became the first man to score 10,000 test match runs?
Sri Lanka.
No, India. The American species of what semi-aquatic mammal of the weasel family became widespread in Britain after many of them escaped or were released from fur farms in the 1950s and 60s?
Mink.
Yes, what term for an excessively optimistic person is the name of the title character of a 1913 novel about a young girl by Eleanor H. Porter?
Pollyanna.
Yes, the 1964 film musical A Hard Day's Night features the music of which band whose members star as themselves?
The Beatles.
Yes, in Greek mythology. What's the name of the daughter of Agamemnon who plotted to kill her own mother, Clytemnestra?
Circe.
No, Electra. What type of fraudulent investment scheme in which returns are paid using money from other investors is named after an Italian-American swindler who ran such a scheme in 1920?
A Ponzi scheme.
Yes, the UK #1 singles You're the One That I Want and Summer Nights feature in what 1978 film musical?
Greece.
Yes, what cotton fabric has a name derived from that of the city of Mosul in Iraq, where it was first manufactured?
Muslim.
Yes, which comedian began narrating the television series You've Been Framed in 2004?
Pass.
A tomb in Worcester Cathedral contains the remains of which English king who reigned from 1199 to 1216?
Edward the Confessor?
No, King John. Which author wrote the 2002 novel The Revenant, which was adapted into a film starring Leonardo DiCaprio?
John Grisham.
No, Michael Punk. The broad, flattened limbs of marine creatures, such as walruses, seals and sea turtles, used to propel them through the water, are known by what name?
Flukes?
No, flippers. The symphony Harold in Italy, composed in 1834 by Hector Berlioz, was commissioned by which string virtuoso who ultimately declined to perform it because he felt that the solo viola part wouldn't sufficiently showcase his technique?
Stradivarius.
No, Niccolo Paganini.
Thank you.
And Emma, you just had one pass. Harry Hill is the comedian who began narrating the television series You've Been Framed in 2004. And at the end of that round, Emma, you have a total of 17 points.
Thank you.
And next up, can we have Justin again, please? Justin, you start with 11 points, the score to beat. As it stands, 17 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The holiday resorts of Benidorm and Torremolinos are in which European country?
Spain.
Yes. What was the stage name of the singer born Mark Felt, who in 1967 founded the rock group Tyrannosaurus Rex, later known as T-Rex?
The Killers.
No, Mark Bolan. What's the name of the non-profit organisation that in 2002 took over the ownership, operation and development of Britain's railway infrastructure from Railtrack?
National Rail.
No, Network Rail. What marine mammal, similar in appearance to a dolphin, has a name that comes from Latin words for pig and fish?
Dugong.
No, porpoise. The 2019 Booker Prize was jointly awarded to The Testaments by Margaret Atwood and Girl, Woman, Other by which other author?
Bernardine Evaristo.
Yes, a type of portable wickerwork cot or cradle for a baby is named after which biblical figure?
Moses.
Yes, which actor born in Northern Ireland earned an Oscar nomination for his performance as the title character in the 1993 film Schindler's List?
Pass.
The nobleman James Hepburn, who in 1567 became the third and final husband of Mary, Queen of Scots, was known by the title 4th Earl of where?
Oxford.
No, Bothwell. On a standard London Monopoly board, the chance squares feature what punctuation
Question
mark? Yes, question mark. After Coventry Cathedral was destroyed in the Second World War, a competition was held to find a design for its replacement. Which architect submitted the winning proposal?
Gilbert Scott.
No, Sir Basil Spence. In May 2021, which football club won the FA Cup for the first time in its history, beating Chelsea 1-0 in the final?
Leicester City.
Yes, a limerick is a rhyming poem with how many lines?
4.
No, 5. What was the name of the chief missionary sent by Pope Gregory the Great to Kent in the late 6th century to convert the pagan Anglo-Saxons to Christianity?
Augustine.
Yes, St. Augustine of Canterbury. Which actress plays the title characters in the 2003 film Girl with a Pearl Earring and the 2008 film The Other Berlin Girl?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, in 2015, Gabriella Finaldi succeeded Sir Nicholas Penny as the director of which major London art gallery?
The Tate.
No, the National Gallery. Which Irish author wrote Borstal Boy, a 1958 autobiographical account of his 3 years in a reformatory?
Roddy Doyle.
No, Brendan Behan. What type of diagonal stitch in needlework or embroidery is named after its shape, which resembles a letter X?
Pass.
Which atoll, I've started so I'll finish, in the Pacific Ocean was the site of a decisive naval battle between the United States and Japan in June 1942 and is said to be named after its equidistant location between North America and Asia?
Bikini Atoll.
No, it's Midway. And Justin, you had 2 passes. What type of diagonal stitch in needlework or embroidery is named after its shape? It's the cross stitch. And which actor born in Northern Ireland earned an Oscar nomination for Schindler's List? It was Liam Neeson. And at the end of that round, Justin, you've got a total of 18 points.
Thank you.
And next up, can we have Anna, please? Anna, you start with 11 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 18 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The rumba, the samba, and the cha-cha-cha are all types of what leisure activity?
Dance.
Yes. In computing, if a printed page is laid out so that it's higher than it is wide, its orientation is described as portrait. What's the corresponding term for the layout of a page that's wider than it is high?
Landscape.
Yes. Which Australian swimmer who won gold medals at 3 consecutive Olympics from 1956 to 1964 was the first woman to swim 100 metres in under 1 minute?
Pass.
A person referred to as a Cestrian is a native or inhabitant of Cheshire, or more specifically, of which city?
Chester.
Yes. Which Mexican revolutionary leader who once launched a raid into the United States was killed in an ambush in 1923?
Pass.
Sweden has its longest land border with which other country?
Norway.
Yes. Venice Airport was opened in 1960 and named after which medieval Venetian merchant and adventurer?
Pass.
T.S. Eliot dedicated his long poem, The Wasteland, to which fellow poet who'd made substantial cuts and revisions to it before it was published?
Pass.
Which big cat can be distinguished by its so-called tear lines, a pair of black lines that extend from the inner corner of each eye down to the sides of the mouth?
Tiger.
No, cheetah. Which London park adjoins Hampton Court Palace and is home to the Diana Fountain and the mile-long Chestnut Avenue, designed by Sir Christopher Wren?
Hyde.
No, Bushy Park. In the 1984 film Champions, which actor plays the Grand National winning jockey Bob Champion?
Pass.
In business, work done by companies that's aimed at the innovation and introduction of new products and services is often called R&D. What do the letters R&D stand for?
Pass.
What's the first name of Georges Simenon's fictional French detective, Inspector Maigret?
Georges.
No, Jules. Quarries on the Scottish island of Ailsa Craig are renowned as a source of high-quality granite for the so-called stones used in which Winter Olympic sport?
Curling.
Yes. Which Savile Row tailor, who was awarded an OBE in 2006, is known for his colourful suits and for the creation of pieces worn in the 2018 film Black Panther?
Oswald Boateng.
Yes. The 1991 album Nevermind, which depicts a baby swimming after a dollar bill on its cover, is by which band?
Nirvana.
Yes. Concord, Conference and Williams are varieties of what fruit?
Pear.
Yes. A 1983 painting entitled Flag, which was sold at auction for $36 million in 2014, is one of many depictions of the Stars and Stripes by which American artist born in 1930?
Jasper Johns.
Yes, it is Jasper Johns. Anna, you had 6 passes. Research and development is what R&D stands for when it comes to companies. John Hurt played the Grand National winning jockey Bob Champion in the film Champions. Ezra Pound was the man who helped write substantial cuts and revisions to The Wasteland. Marco Polo is the name of Venice Airport when it opened in 1960. Pancho Villa was the revolutionary leader who once launched a raid into the United States. And Dawn Fraser is the Australian swimmer, the first woman to swim 100 metres in under 1 minute. And at the end of that round, Anna, you now have a total of 20 points. And finally, we have Rachel again. Rachel, you start with 11 points, the score to beat, to get through to the semi-finals. Anna's 20 points, and you've now got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Let's go. What's the usual British name for the hinged lid that covers the engine of a car and is known to Americans as a hood?
Bonnet.
Yes. In Roman numerals, what number is denoted by the letters IX?
9.
Yes, the actresses Brigitte Bardot and Jane Fonda were 2 of the 5 wives of which French film director who died in 2000?
Truffaut.
No, Roger Vadim. Gato is the Spanish word for what animal?
Cat.
Yes, the archipelago in the Pacific Ocean that includes the islands of New Britain and New Ireland, once annexed by Germany, but now part of Papua New Guinea, is named after which German statesman?
Bavaria.
No, Otto von Bismarck. The stage play and film adaptation of Alan Bennett's memoir, The Lady in the Van, both starred an actress who was made a dame in 1990 and is well known for her role in the television drama Downton Abbey. What's her full name?
Maggie Smith.
Yes. What ecclesiastical-sounding name of the NFL American football team based in Phoenix, Arizona, is a reference to the deep red color of their shirts?
Cardinals.
Yes, the Arizona Cardinals. In the Royal Navy, what officer rank is above captain but below rear admiral?
Vice Admiral.
No, Commodore. Which television presenter who hosted the Generation Game from 1978 to 1982 had the catchphrase, "Shut that door"?
Larry Grayson.
Yes, what's the name of the imaginary line of latitude which passes through Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Scandinavia and Russia at about 66 degrees, 30 minutes north of the equator?
Tropic of Cancer.
No, the Arctic Circle. In the opera Salome by Richard Strauss, the Dance of the Seven Veils is performed by the title character in front of which king of Judea?
Herod.
Yes, King Herod. In the traditional children's story, The Three Little Pigs, the first pig built a house using what flimsy material?
Straw.
Yes, in horse anatomy, the highest part of the back, which lies between the shoulder blades, is known by what plural name?
Withers.
Yes. Which British filmmaker directed the 2019 film, Sorry, We Missed You, about a delivery driver struggling with financial hardship?
Ken Loach.
Yes. What term, from Greek words meaning single hole, is used to classify egg-laying mammals such as the platypus?
Monotreme.
Yes. What television series, first shown in 2019 and set in the Star Wars universe, is about the adventures of a bounty hunter played by Pedro Pascal and his tiny companion, the Child, known to fans and in the media as Baby Yoda?
DeLorean. Mandalorian.
No, I must take your first answer. The Mandalorian. In chess, what name is given to the situation in which a player is not, I've started so I'll finish, is not in check but cannot make a valid move and the game ends in a draw?
Stalemate.
Yes, it is stalemate. And Rachel, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you now have a total of 23 points. So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 17 points, it's Emma. In third place with 18 points, Justin. In second place with 20 points, it's Anna. And in first place with 23 points, Rachel, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind. And you can follow us as ever at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I love quizzing. I've become really obsessed with it over the last 10 years or so. And Mastermind is sort of the ultimate challenge. Maggie Smith?
Yes.
Larry Grayson?
Yes.
Monotreme?
Yes.
I belong to the Withington Quiz League, so I expect I'll get quite a lot of feedback from them about things I should have got.
And in first place, Rachel, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals.
Just happy to have got this far, really. And I've got to start thinking about the next one.